So today I kind of want to talk a little bit about utilizing your influences and the importance of learning other people's music. For my students, when I'm teaching them any style of music, but especially when I'm teaching them how to improvise or to play lead guitar, one of the things that I do, besides teaching them all the theoretical parts of the lesson, you know, if we're learning a blues scale or chord tones or 12-bar blues or whatever, is I get them to either transcribe with their own ears or use written transcriptions that I have available for them to memorize a whole bunch of either solos or songs in their entirety from, you know, artists that I think are good examples of that style. And what that's doing for them is it's not only just, you know, getting them to play a little bit, but it's giving them some vocabulary that they can, you know, ultimately add to their own vocabulary when they're actually trying to improvise or solo or whatever. One thing about this is that, you know, I'm not really into building an army of parrots, you know, of people that just regurgitate or repeat, you know, music. You know, I grew up in the era where everybody wanted to sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan, or everybody wanted to sound like Van Halen or whatever, and you get these guys in these bands and you know exactly what they listen to, right? That's not the idea with this at all, you know. And the idea for me is that, you know, through the process of learning this, you're going to see how these guys phrase. You're going to get used to actually knowing where to find the sounds that they're using and find where melodies are at. But then also going through the process, a lot of times what happens is that you're going to, maybe you make a mistake, you know, playing their lick, or maybe you play it and you come up with an idea that you like better. You know, that you end up kind of messing around with these things. You know, the lick that you come up with might actually be more interesting to you. You might play it a little bit more. But the other thing is that it's almost like you're making soup at a certain point. You know, if we take the ingredients for like chicken soup, is usually my favorite analogy here. You know, if you eat a carrot, or if you eat a piece of garlic or some chicken or whatever by itself, or in its plain or raw state, it's just going to taste like that one ingredient. You take all of those ingredients, you know, you water, salt, pepper, garlic, chicken, carrots, celery, whatever you put in your soup, and you let them simmer for a period of time, a couple hours. Yeah, that stuff all kind of breaks down, and all of those separate components become this other thing, this chicken soup, right? And chicken soup has a very distinctive flavor all of its own. And if you change those ingredients, you're going to get a different soup out of it. You know, you're going to get a different flavor. Now, what this means for you as a guitar player is that your ultimate sound, you know, or your current sound, if you're always evolving, is going to be a product of all of this stuff that you've taken in. You know, in my case as a player, a lot of the stuff you see me play on YouTube is blues, because I play a lot of blues gigs. But the reality is that I'm a kid who grew up in Orange County, California, who in the 80s, I loved Van Halen and Dokken and all kinds of cheesy metal. Before that, I had an older sister who listened to the music of the 70s, you know, when I was really young. I got a lot of Queen and Eagles and, you know, music like that, you know, in my ears. My stepmother played trumpet semi-professionally. I got to hear a lot of Harry James and Glenn Miller music. I went to college. I had to learn how to play jazz. I played a lot of gigs. You know, this whole thing, all the music that your ears take in, eventually comes out the other end in one way or another. You know, so for the guys out there that are you know, part of the reason for this particular blog today is because I keep getting asked the question, I want to learn to improvise. What scales do I need to learn? You know, and that's not really what it's about. You know, it should be, what music should I learn? You know, and what are the tools to make that music? You know, we get so involved in where we put our fingers on the instrument, on the guitar, sometimes we kind of forget that there's supposed to be a melody of some sort, whether it's pretty or it's ugly or whatever you're trying to do. You know, there's supposed to be music coming out, right? You know, and the process of learning other people's music, I think, will get you there faster. You know, it makes that pathway between your hands and your mind's ear, the way that you hear a melody in your head, and gives you the facility to get that out on the instrument. Some people can do this without any kind of instruction, or they're a prodigy. For the rest of us, though, it's a lot easier if you take the information from the players that came before that you broke it down and then reconstructed it into your music.